Hey everyone, it's Mags. Hope you're all doing well today. So I wanted to discuss another installment of the Big Bust series that seemed to be quite popular. The previous video that I did regarding dresses, so I'll link that below if you haven't yet seen it. So I wanted to specifically discuss tops today, so sweaters, crop tops, bodysuits, blouses, etc., all for us girls with big busts. Now, these are going to be obviously my personal preferences and my personal preferred looks, but feel free to alter it or modify it to your personal likes. And I do purchase most of these items, by the way, online. I've been buying online for years now, and I consider myself a pretty seasoned online shopper. So I guess what I'm getting at is I mostly have successful purchases rather than a lot of fails. Because in the video I was planning to show you, obviously, the try-on portion to show you how to wear these items and how I prefer to wear these tops. But I do have a few fails to show you, probably things that I purchased more when I was shopping early on that I thought I was going to alter or end up saving, but I never did end up altering it, but I did save these items. So it's actually kind of good that I did, because now I can show you some of these fails. But there's only a very few of them because the rest are all great ones in my personal opinion. So I'm going to show you what I personally find flattering and what I can, might suggest that you can do to modify if, for example, you need to be more modest at the office or something to that, effect, or if you are in one situation then you quickly have to go to another event, for example, how you can potentially, alter your top, add something, scarf or whatnot, to make it look more presentable or a little bit more modest if that's what you need to do. I do find that those of us with big busts, anything we wear that's even a little low cut or a little form-fitting can be seen as sometimes risque or, showing too much cleavage or whatever, whereas, another person with a smaller, more modest chest would not get a second glance or comment regarding the amount of cleavage that they're showing. But for those of us blessed with the big busts, that's one of the things we have to deal with, and that's fine. There's different situations that garner different types of outfits, so hopefully I'm going to try to go through a few today. And just to let you guys know, these things have mostly been purchased over the last few years, so nothing super recent except for I think one item. So my typical stores that I purchase at are going to be ASOS, Boohoo, Fashion Nova, some Forever 21, Old Navy, and those are all online. And then if I ever do go in store, it's pretty much just to Winners, which I'm in Canada, so we have Winners here, and I think in the States, for similarities, you guys have Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Ross. That's sort of similar to Winners. I think they're all owned by the same company anyway. So let's get into it. So I'm going to show you the tops, explain why I like them, and then of course insert clips of myself trying them on, so you can get a good idea of why I like them, why I would recommend them for a lady with a big bust, why I find it flattering, and that kind of thing. So first off, I'm going to start with some casual tops. So I have just a very cute cat t-shirt here, and this is just a standard, I think just below the hip length t-shirt. It's kind of a stretchier one actually. Now what I do find with a lot of tops, I personally prefer them a little bit more form-fitting, because I find when they're form-fitting and not super baggy, it's actually more flattering when you have a big bust rather than having something super baggy. So this particular t-shirt I like for a cute casual look paired with jeans, shorts, that kind of thing. It would look really cute. I wear this, around the house a lot. So that's a cute, more casual option. Another still casual option, but a little bit more of a dressy t-shirt, is this black one. I got this one, I think actually at Ross when I was in the States actually, and it has this little cute frill detail. Again, it's just below the hip length. It's black with this kind of pretty arrows, feathers, roses, and a little bit of like sparkles on there. And I like this because it's not super tight, not super loose. It's a nice light material. It's very flowy over the boobs, but it doesn't like look too baggy. And it's a nice way to have a more dressy casual option. So it's, casual and you're going to be really comfy, yet it's still dressy, and I find it very flattering. I like the slight scoop neck on it, and yeah. And by the way, the previous one, the white one with the cats on it, that one was purchased online from, I think, actually AliExpress. So not one of my ones that I mentioned, but that was the one from AliExpress. And this one I believe is from Ross, as I mentioned. Another cute t-shirt that I really like, and do excuse the wrinkles, and I hope my white balance doesn't go off here, but this one is from Banana Republic / Old Navy, same company. It's a very light t-shirt with a little bit of a deeper scoop neck, and again I find with big busts having you know, a scoop neck is very flattering. It does, you know, draw some attention to the collarbone, to the neck area, and doesn't necessarily draw the eye right to the boobs. So unless that's the look you're going for, which is completely fine. I like the very simplistic design. It's very flowy, very light. This is a really nice casual option as well. Also not too baggy, and yeah, I really like it. I think it's really pretty. And then a casual yet a little bit of a step above from a t-shirt is this one I got from Boohoo. So it's long sleeve. Now this one has a little ruffle over the bust, so it's cold shoulder. Again, a little scoop neck and a ruffle. So this is actually a really nice way to, even though it's funny, it adds a little volume to the chest area, to the boob area, but it doesn't make you look bigger than you actually are, because the bottom portion is actually quite form-fitting, as you'll see in the try-on. So it's form-fitting, it hugs to your waist and hips. So it's just this part that's kind of loose and flowy. So it actually looks, in my opinion, quite flattering, I think. I personally really like it. So yeah, I think that's another good option. Again, that one's from Boohoo, and they had this in a few colors. I think I got this though a couple seasons ago, so I don't know if they still have it, but I'm sure there's similar options you can find in the store. So I do like this one as well. Now getting on to one of my favorites, bodysuits. I think bodysuits are really, really flattering for big busted ladies, because I like the fact that it's all tucked in, it won't come out of your pants. It's, you know, stuck together with those little clips underneath in the crotch area. So I do really like bodysuits. It stays very smooth to the body, it hugs your curves. So one that I really like, I got this one from, I think it was Forever 21. I'm pretty sure actually it was Forever 21. And it's just a nice deep sort of mauve-y purple color with black accents on it. Again, the scoop neck. So the scoop neck, you can probably see a theme, I do find very flattering. This one, as you can see in the try-on, is a bit obviously more form-fitting, but again, I personally find that looks quite good if you're big busted, because it hugs your curves rather than, I find when something's really, really baggy, if you have a big chest, it actually can make you look larger than you are. So I personally like having something a little bit more form-fitting. So a bodysuit's also a good option. And another bodysuit that's a little bit more dressy that I really like, that I also got from Boohoo, is this one. Now it has long sleeves, and I do like this little accent here. So it's kind of a little slight cutout at the chest, as you'll see. Form-fitting and a little bit more low cut than some of the other ones, but I like this one. I think it's very comfortable, very cute. This little chest piece kind of adds interest to the neckline, and I think it almost kind of draws the attention up as well. So that's another good option, being a bodysuit, being more form-fitting, yet, you know, something you can definitely dress up. It can be potentially office appropriate. I mean, depending on what office you work in, you can also, I've actually worn this to the office and covered it up with a blazer, which I'll show you a little bit later, or like a duster or something like that. So I think that can make it office appropriate. Now, this one at first glance is something that I actually purchased on, I think it was, oh, actually also Boohoo. Okay, Boohoo's getting a lot of shout outs today. I got this one from Boohoo as well. I love the leopard print. Now, typically I wouldn't get something like this because it's a shell top, which means that it's typically just a big kind of square shape. It doesn't have any indentation at the waist, so no definition. So on its own, I actually didn't like this. This was initially going to go in my fail pile of clothes, but because it's long enough, I paired it with a belt, as I'll show you in the try-on, and because it's cinched in at the waist, it actually now looks super cute in my opinion. I love it now. It has that little fluffy ruffle again with a slight scoop neck at the top, so the ruffle adds a little bit of interest, and it's completely like no buttons or anything, so it's nice to cover up the chest area, to be a little bit more modest if you need to be for the office, for the workplace, for a work event, whatever it may be. But the cinching in with the belt really helps to make it, I personally think, look very flattering if you have a large bust. So I love that one. Another one that I really like, that is a very recent purchase actually, is this beautiful red, just in time for Valentine's Day, red blouse that actually I got from Winners. And it's again really nice. It has this zipper that you can pull down as far as you need to or up. I have it in the place where I personally like it. So I found when it's pulled too high, it actually kind of looks a bit odd in my opinion. And too low is a little too much cleavage, but this is perfectly office appropriate, zipped up to a certain height. And I love the fact that it has this cinched in waist. It's an elasticized waist and it's cinched in. So I really like this one. And of course I love the color. I love red. So this is a beautiful piece for the office, for even like a more casual date night or anything like that. I definitely plan to wear this to the office. I think it looks quite cute. So I really like this. Again, this is from Winners. And by the way, most of my stuff, unless otherwise mentioned, is in a size medium. I'm pretty much a standard size medium in tops. Now getting into something, you know, a lot of us still like crop tops and that kind of thing. Although it is still winter here in Canada where I am, you know, we're getting into spring. Slowly but surely we're getting into spring. So some options for crop tops. I really like this one. Now this is a nice sort of dark, I guess, burgundy color. Now I like this one because of the neckline. I think it's quite flattering for the big bust because it has that laddered, you know, ties up at the front with a string. And that, again, it can be quite flattering because it sort of draws the eye upwards. And it's, again, a little bit more form-fitting. And this is longer than your usual crop top. It's just below my waist. So it's, I guess, technically maybe just a regular shirt. But I don't really like crazy short crop tops. So for me, this is actually a short shirt. I like that it's short sleeve. And yeah, it's just a nice flattering color. I find that having nice sort of vibrant colors, if they're solid, really are very, look very beautiful on any, you know, bust size. Doesn't matter if you're big bust or more modest chest, but I do find it looks very pretty in a solid color, having a nice vibrant color, like the mauve color I just showed you, or sorry, the burgundy I just showed you. Another option I really think is cute, and I've worn this to the office. Now it looks like a tiny little shirt, but I've actually worn this with high-waisted jeans and a blazer to the office, and it looks super cute. This one I believe I got at Winners. It's just a little cream-colored top with navy blue stripes. And again, I like the sort of lower scoop neck. I find that super flattering. I think it just looks really pretty. And this is a little bit of a shorter shirt, but with high-waisted jeans, it looks super cute. And I like the long sleeves. And again, more form-fitting. So you can probably see a theme here. I tend to like things that aren't like skin tight necessarily, but a little bit more form fitting. So for example, the top I'm wearing now, it is a bodysuit. It is from Fashion Nova. It's a long sleeve, ribbed black, just plain bodysuit. Now something like this I love, although the V, you know, it can be considered fairly low. It's something definitely that can be covered up. And I guess I'll show you right now. One of my favorite things to, you know, maybe make a lower cut top more modest is to pair it with something like a blazer. So I have this beautiful teal green blazer here that, again, I keep, typically in my office I'll keep a blazer just to have on hand if perhaps I'm wearing a shirt that may be considered more lower cut and then I'm going to a meeting after. I think it's a great option to have a blazer or some sort of cover up in those types of situations that you find yourself in. So I love this one, and I'll show you in the try on how it looks with this particular black bodysuit, but that's something I really recommend to have. Another thing that I like to have on hand is a light kimono. So this one is from ASOS, and it's a very light, sort of almost see-through, I guess, I'm not sure, tribal kind of printed kimono. And this one's a really good basic to have. It looks really good with black shirts, but pretty much any color shirt actually, as long as it's like a solid. And again, it can add a bit more modesty to an otherwise perhaps more lower cut shirt. So I do feel that a kimono is also a very good alternative as a cover up for any kind of top. And another one that I like to use as a cover up that I've worn many times is this pink, light pink duster. It's very long. This almost goes below my knees, but it looks really great because it's kind of like a bit of a blazer look up top. So it really definitely can cover up something, again, that's a little too low cut or whatever, if you want to keep it in your office. The lapels, you know, nicely kind of flow over the chest, so that looks really good. The thing I like about these blazers, kimonos, dusters is they add some extra coverage without adding a lot of bulk. See, I find again with having a bigger chest, if you add a lot of bulk, it's just going to make you look larger than you are. So I tend to do, if I have to be more modest in an office setting, for example, I tend to rather layer than add a big bulky shirt. So I will wear like a, you know, a more form-fitting, very thin shirt underneath, layer it up with either a blazer, a duster, a kimono, and I think you're absolutely good to go, and it's a very flattering, office-appropriate look. And another thing I like to keep in my office is having like a beautiful shawl. So a shawl can be a lifesaver. You know, if your office has crazy air conditioning like mine does, even just midday, if you put it on, you know, adjust it. I mean, whatever, I just can't really see how I look in the viewfinder, but something like that, you know, can look really cute. And it's an instant way to kind of cover up the chest area if, for example, you know, it's a bit of a situation where you need something a little bit more coverage. So I do find something like having a shawl in your office can be extremely helpful, not only for warmth, but for additional modesty, coverage, whatever. It's a really good thing to have on hand. Now, continuing on with the tops, I'll actually show you a few fails, the ones that I feel like I wish worked for me, but unfortunately didn't, and I'll tell you why. So I have this adorable top from Boohoo, this gingham. I was so sad that this didn't work, but it's a gingham top with just little ruffly sleeves and a little ruffly, you know, top part and cold shoulder cutouts. Now, the reason this didn't work, unfortunately, I love the color and everything, but it's a lot shorter than that leopard print one I showed you before. Okay, so unfortunately my memory card was full. Rookie mistake, Mags. Anyway, as I was saying regarding this adorable little gingham top, the reason it didn't really work out for me because it is shorter than that leopard print top I showed you earlier. So my little belt trick didn't work. It just looked kind of silly because there wasn't enough fabric at the bottom. So this is a classic example. It's a swing top, and swing tops are, in my opinion, a definite no-no / unflattering look for anyone with a big bust. It just makes you look all one size from the bust out. So instead of kind of going in and conforming to your body, it just makes you look larger than you are. So I am not a fan of swing tops for big busts. Swing dresses, swing tops, I stay far away from them. I just don't find them flattering. So that's a no. Now, another no, unfortunately, from Fashion Nova, which I loved, was so pretty. And again, it's in the same vein of kind of the sticking out type thing. So this is a beautiful sort of micro suede top with a very cute little string front detail, which I think is really adorable. And I love the color. But again, I think because of the type of fabric, and it has these slits on the side, which I always find it's great if you have bigger hips because it does sort of have some give on the side. But when you have a bigger bust as well, it almost seems to, again, go just straight down. So on me, as you'll see in the try-on, it just kind of goes straight down, and I don't personally find it flattering. I actually had this one altered, so it was even more bigger and like sort of more sticky outy. Is that even a word, Max? Than it was before. So yeah, I did get it altered, but it still just unfortunately was a bit of a fail for me for that reason, the fact that it just kind of goes straight down and doesn't have any definition. And another fail, I mean, this I guess isn't really, it's technically not a shirt. It's like a little poncho I got from Old Navy. You'll see it a bit better in the try-on. This is basically a big block. So it's a big square block. So I don't know why I thought this was going to be flattering on me. Again, when you're large busted, try to look for things that are kind of can conform to your shape more, and fabrics that are more malleable and soft. So this is, you know, it's soft, but it is kind of stiff. So it doesn't like conform to the body. Also, it's obviously very thick. Again, very thick fabrics I tend to stay away from having a big bust. I find that when they're really thick, they look bulky, they look baggy, they are not flattering, they make me look larger than I am. So I'm not a fan of that. So this is a no for me, unfortunately. Now, getting back into some positive tops that I really liked. Now, these are sweaters. So sweaters can be tricky when you have a large bust because, well, I guess it depends what look you're going for. The slouchy stuff for around the house, I totally love that. I love, you know, being comfortable obviously around the house. So I think for around the house, you know, you do you, wear whatever you want. And in fact, wear whatever you want no matter what. This is just my personal opinion. I like this more thin knit sweater. So this is a very thin one that I actually purchased from Winners several years ago. It's Tommy Hilfiger, long sleeve. It's just a nice cream color. And I think because it's a very thin knit with a V-neck, which I really like, I think I find the V-neck and the scoop neck the most flattering when you have a larger chest. So this is something that I really like. It's a more fine knit. It conforms to the body. It's a good length. It's something I really like. And my last recommendation for a sweater is, now this is a little bit of a thicker one. It's a light pink, mauve kind of style from Boohoo. So I love this one. It's a little chunkier, even though I said I don't like chunky sweaters, but it's not so chunky that it's like all bulky and that I felt like, you know, really large in it or anything. It still conformed to my body. It's a nice, you know, with the neckline with the little crisscrossy detail, I think that makes it look less kind of big than it is. It has that choker effect neckline. And again, the color's beautiful and it's not too long. I think that's a big thing. It's not super long on me. It's not super baggy. It's, I guess, what you would call a slightly more fitted chunky knit sweater. So I do really like that. So I think that's a win. And just to show you some examples again, and I'll show you the try-on obviously in the clips. you know, belts are your best friend when you are big busted, and if you have like a bigger top that you purchased or, you know, whatever, if you just kind of want to change it up, even just to change up the look, adding a belt around the waist is such a nice addition. So I have this kind of sparkly one that I got from Old Navy, which I love, and this kind of just a plain black belt. So anything like a belt would be a nice addition to cinch in the waist, add some more shape and definition to the top, and I think frankly look a little bit more flattering on you if you do have a larger chest. So those are some of my tips, suggestions, recommendations for different styles of tops when you have a large bust. I hope you found this video helpful or useful in some way. And let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd be curious to know what your experiences have been, if you have a big chest, and what tops you find the most flattering. But hopefully you enjoyed the video, and thanks again. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.